Welcome back. So Politics HQ, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division yesterday that you already have had. And like we discussed yesterday, dismissed the ex parte order that was issued on May 10, 2024 by a River State High Court in Port Harcourt. Of course, this particular order barred Martin Amehule from parading himself as Speaker of the River State House of Assembly. That was not all. The appeal court also dismissed the decision of the State High Court, which stopped the other members of the Assembly, 24 of them, pro-Wike lawmakers, from carrying out any such legislative assignment, also in the name of the River State House of Assembly. I want to bring it on air this time, and at this point, Ikenga Chibike, who is the spokesperson of the APC in River State. He joins us virtually from Port Harcourt, River State. Also, we have a lawyer, legal practitioner, Eugene Ode, joining us on the program. Ikenga, good evening to you. Many thanks for your time.
Good evening, Kofi. Thank you for having me.
All right. What is your reaction to this judgment by the Court of Appeal in Abuja?
Well, thank you once again. I think that my reaction is that the law unequitably, and therefore we must all embrace this opportunity at this time to build peace, to ensure that we are one united River State, and particularly it is placed at the corridor or on the laps of the governor, Governor Fubara, who is the governor of the state. This is another opportunity for him to rally around Rivers people for our development, which had been lacking for the past 1 year. So this is an opportunity for him to bring everyone together and let us kickstart the development of our state.
Interesting. What is the position of the All Progressives Congress in River State regarding this? Because it's a dicey matter. Are you in the APC happy?
Well, we have always wished that the best thing happened to River State, particularly something that will engender peace and progress. And we had repeatedly said, we had conversed even on this medium, that let us await the decision of the courts, particularly Superior Court. So, and it has come. Let us embrace this opportunity and begin to put our state together so that we can compete favorably with other states who are already pursuing their development far ahead of us.
Interesting. As a party, the All Progressives Congress in River State, does this affect their membership of your party? Or are you looking at it in a way that you're getting or gaining more seats in the River State House of Assembly as a party?
What is important to us now as a party is the peace and progress of our state, the unity, security of our state. That's what is most important. And then when the state begins to advance, then we begin to talk about party membership, who belongs to where and how. But what is important now, like we have rightly said, is that there is need for us to pursue governance. We need to pursue governance properly so everyone would be happy with developments. Interesting.
I want to bring in Eugene Ode, whom I'm sure you're familiar with. Though his beard is not as gray as yours or even as mine, I think he's enjoying the life. Eugene Ode, good evening to you. It's good to have you on Politics HQ.
Kopi, thanks for having me once again. And I salute my able leader.
All right, fantastic.
I greet you, Eugene.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, what's your view of yesterday's judgment by the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja, Mr. Ode?
Well, I'm going to be sounding as a lawyer, not as a politician. Because I live in River State, I do my practice. I practice in River State, so I'm conversant with the facts giving rise to the decision of the Court of Appeal. Yes, for me, I wasn't surprised that such a decision would come out from the Court of Appeal, because I've always said it, even from when the High Court gave that interlocutory order, and and those rulings. I've always said it that the High Court wasn't the proper forum to deal with those issues because of the express provisions of Section 272, subsection 3, which is the part of the alteration of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as altered, that it is only the Federal High Court that has the jurisdiction to determine the issues of whether there is vacancy, in the House of Assembly or not. So I'm not really surprised that the Court of Appeal told that line and interpreted that provision of the Constitution to oust the jurisdiction of the State High Court that gave that ruling, which has been the talking point for some weeks, for some months now in Rivers State. Now, having said that, I heard my leader who was, he spoke as a politician. I don't blame him for the choice of his words, for him to have decided that peace was the ultimate in such a time like this. But one question he must also answer is whether we can achieve sustainable peace where there's injustice. Now, why do I say there's injustice prevalent in Rivers State today? The subject matter is the issue of the defection of the 27 lawmakers from the sponsoring political party, the PDP, to the All Progressives Congress. Now, I don't know, he evaded that question as to the membership status of these 27 lawmakers. Now, the fact that the Court of Appeal ousted the jurisdiction of the State High Court does not mean that the 27 lawmakers have retaken or been reinstated in the Rivers State House of Assembly. I don't think that issue was determined by the Court of Appeal. The only issue that came before the Court of Appeal was whether the State High Court has the jurisdiction to even entertain those questions to determine the fate of these 27 lawmakers. Don't also forget that these 27 lawmakers by themselves have also approached the Federal High Court in Abuja to determine their fate and their status as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly or not. Don't also forget that there are several other plethora of other matters, similar matters, pending at the Federal High Court, both here in Port Harcourt and in Abuja, to determine whether these 27 lawmakers, by reason of their defection from the PDP, their sponsoring political party, to the APC, if they have not activated the provisions of Section 109, subsection 1, paragraph G, of the same Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which the Court of Appeal yesterday upheld as the supreme law that has stated that the State High Court does not have jurisdiction. Now, if we hold the provisions of Section 272, subsection 3, to say that the State High Court does not have jurisdiction to determine the fate of these 27 lawmakers, we should also not shy away from the same provisions of the Constitution, Section 109, subsection 1, paragraph G, that clearly states, without any equivocation, without any ambiguity, that any member of the State House of Assembly who was sponsored by a political party, for any reason defected from that sponsoring political party, he ceases to be a member of that political party. Okay, so
what you're saying is that, so what you're saying is, despite yesterday's judgment, the 25 lawmakers or 23, whichever it is, they've lost their seats. They still don't have their seats.
It remains so. That is still the position of the law.
I want to give. Yeah. Well, that is debatable, and I want to give Ikenga Chibike a chance to respond. Ikenga, what do you say to that?
Okay, my friend there, Eugene, had just expressed his views and his own interpretations of the constitutional provisions or his own understanding of what is. He is not the law. He is not the court. Particularly, he is not a Court of Appeal. He is not the Federal High Court, and he is not the Supreme Court. But let it be put on record clearly that there is a subsisting judgment from Omotosho which clearly validated the position of Martin Samuel, the Right Honorable Speaker, and members of the Assembly. And that decision is still there, subsisting. No court had set it aside. It's still subsisting that they are legally recognized by the Constitution and all extant laws that make them Speaker and members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. So when my friend is talking about decisions of courts that has not officiated their proposed defection to another party, he did not also tell us that there is a case in court, in any court, that is asking that they be set aside, particularly a court that has a jurisdiction. Because if you remember, Kofi, I did mention severally that a lot of these orders, interlocutory orders and other decisions by some of the courts in Rivers State were procured. They were procured because those judges became appendages to the state government. And today we stand to see that Court of Appeal had set aside those decisions which they took to create more crisis in Rivers State. I want to inform the listening public that we have Right Honorable Martin Samehule and 24 others as authentic House of Assembly members. He who says that they have decamped or defected to another party should go to the court, and until the court says so, then we take it off from there. But as we speak today, they are legally and validly elected members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, and they are invested with the powers, the authority to make laws for the good governance of Rivers State as we speak. And that's the position which has been also validated by the Court of Appeal. Then we will look at any other thing. Anybody who feels aggrieved can go upstairs to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will finally take a position one way or the other, and they will know that that is finality. To say that the fact that state high courts do not have jurisdiction, that does not mean that these people have defected. Mind you, that if you say that you have an interest in joining a political party, that does not make you a member of the political party. And remember, majority of these members voted for President Ahmed Tinubu, if not all of them. And they have not hidden their love and support for the policies and programs of the APC. And if they said a wish, because of the crisis in their party, to join the APC, they have not consummated the processes leading to membership of the APC.
Okay.
So these are the things that you must look at when you begin to make authoritative statements as to what is.
Thank you, Ikenga Chibike. Eugene Ode.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to respond?
I'm with you.
Yes, you want to have something to say here.
Let's put some records correct. Let's correct some records so we don't mislead the public. Now, he made mention of a certain judgment from Omotosho's Honorable Justice Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja validating the seats of the 27 lawmakers. Well, let me inform my able leader there. Maybe he hasn't read that judgment. I am seized with the facts of that case, and I can tell you that that judgment never said anything about the fate of the 27 lawmakers. In fact, it was these same 27 lawmakers who went to court. They asked that the National Assembly should take over the Rivers State House, but that was one of their prayers. And again, also to determine other things outside the issue of their defection. So the Omotosho's judgment had nothing to do with the issue of whether these 27 lawmakers are still members of the Rivers State House of Assembly or not. If Omotosho's judgment had dealt with that, I don't think anybody in Rivers State would have still gone to the same Federal High Court to seek.
But usually, just to ask you very quickly, the Federal High Court, Court of Appeal in Abuja has said that suit filed by Oko-Jumbo and others at the Rivers State High Court in Port Harcourt and the Court of Justice Wali, which barred Amehule and others from parading themselves as members of the House of Assembly, has been voided. It's been quashed. So does that not therefore mean that they can now parade themselves? Does that? But he says the court has no jurisdiction. So,
listen, Kofi.
Yes.
What was before Honorable Justice Wali, which he ruled, was an interlocutory order. There was a substantive suit which has not even been determine.
But if that substantive suit is before the same court and the Court of Appeal says that that court has no jurisdiction on such matters, then does that substantive suit continue?
No, Kofi. See, I think we need to educate ourselves properly. If the Court of Appeal has said, rightly so, that a state high court does not have the jurisdiction to determine the subject matter, which is whether or not these 27 lawmakers are still members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. That is the question that is before the court. And that question has not been answered. What the court only said was that, look, before I answer this question as to whether these people are still members of the Rivers State House of Assembly or not, please, first and foremost, let them stop parading themselves as lawmakers.
But you just said it that by virtue of Section 272. Yeah, you just said by virtue of Section 272 sub 3 that court in itself has no jurisdiction to entertain the matter.
Now, that doesn't mean that the issue has been determined. The fact that the Court of Appeal has said that court doesn't even have the jurisdiction to determine the substantive issue, it means that the issue is yet to be determined.
So what happens going forward? If the court has no jurisdiction, what happens to that issue?
It doesn't mean that the Federal High Court cannot determine similar issues that are before it.
Okay.
I told you.
But that interlocutory order, which was but Eugene, that interlocutory order which was brandished by the likes of Oko-Jumbo and those in the House of Assembly, it said that don't parade yourself. It's an interim injunction as members now of the River State House. Now that has been squashed. If that has been quashed, what is stopping them from parading themselves? Because now there is no interlocutory injunction.
Before these matters went to court, all right, the issue of the vacancy in the House of Assembly was already ongoing. And the seats of those 27 lawmakers had already been declared vacant. A letter was written to INEC to conduct a by-election to fill those vacancies. The process, which was created by Section 109, subsection 1, paragraph G of the Constitution, had already been activated. All right?
But is that a subject of litigation? Is that a subject of litigation, Eugene OJ? That declaration of seats vacant, is that before the court?
That's what I'm telling you. That the status quo as it is today is that those seats have been declared vacant.
Okay, I'll give Ikenga a final say for 10 seconds because of time. Just 10 seconds. We don't have time, please. Ikenga Chibike. No. Okay, we have a network challenge with Ikenga. I don't know, maybe the gods have spoken. Eugene Ode isn't going to have you on the program tonight. Ikenga, I'm so sorry, but the network has interfered with your submission, so we have to leave it at that. We'll have this conversation, I'm sure, again next week, because something is bound to happen. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. And that's the size of our package tonight on Politics HQ. I'm Kofi Bartels. We'll keep our eyes on River State. But from all of us here, thanks for being company all through this week. We'll return on Monday with more on this program. Good night.